From Finbold News, XRP to hit $500 in 7 months, Wells Fargo Treasury manager basically predicts. This was cited today. Let's blow this up for a second. So on this one, you see, it says, in a stunning turn of events, XRP has witnessed an impressive surge in recent weeks, briefly soaring above 83 cent mark. Reality, I think we even got reports that it touched 91 cents at one point. I know it was for like an hour, but it definitely touched in the 90s. I saw numerous reports about that. So the digital currency's remarkable rally can be attributed to a landmark legal triumph. We know that, right? SEC victory over the SEC. It says this may be just the beginning, right? The tip of the iceberg. It says, according to Shannon Thorpe, the treasury manager of banking giant Wells Fargo. I have a Wells Fargo account. Who doesn't at this point? Notably, in an extensive Twitter post on July 30th, which was yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. This is the final day of the month. Crazy. Thorpe offered her price prediction for XRP. This is not just some regular Joe Schmo, like some regular YouTuber or whatever. This is somebody actually from, right, who is the treasury manager for Wells Fargo. So this is bullish, all right? And basically in her forecast for price prediction, she was saying that XRP can hit between $100 and $500 in the following 4 to 7 months. I can't remember who shares some of this information with me on a DM. Thank you to whoever that was. I apologize. Usually I try to make sure I give you, credit where credit's due. But yeah, implying a possible upside from 14,185% to 71,328% from its current price of 71 cents per token. Here's the bottom line. All right. I'll just be blunt and honest about it. What is it going to take to convince the masses, right? It might be even a few of you guys. I'm not trying to offend anybody. That, this concept of the accumulation phase. So we knew that for the most part, after the SEC case, and there was a Ripple victory. Some of us were talking about easily over $1, right? That, of course, didn't happen immediately, but it doesn't mean it still won't happen. It might be a little bit of a delay, right? After this whole pullback, in my opinion, I think Investor Place has it right on that. Altcoins, remember? It's altcoin buying season and so on. So if that's the case, isn't XRP right at the top of the list? Of course it is. It's ranked, currently, I think number 5. We touched number 4, beat out Binance. So understand this. If we have, for instance, BTC at new price levels, we have XRP at new price levels, what will be the next monumental support level for this? And basically speaking, it's like you got to reference what's going on with this. The next basic support level could very well be what she's mentioning here. And that seems insane, but this person is not some regular Joe Schmo. Like I mentioned, treasury manager of Wells Fargo. Here's another quote, and this is from Crypto Twitter. People have long asked, what will be the price of XRP when this utility comes? We're always talking about the utility run, right? That's where we focus a lot of our time and our energy. She says, in her opinion, now more than ever, she sees a divided XRP army. One side looking at only charts, taking cues from the past and trends that follow Bitcoin to draw short-term price predictions. I'll blow this up a little bit more. This is cited from 2 days ago. I think this is worth sharing. Price predictions based on quote-unquote securities. In the crypto space, this logic seems counterintuitive, and I believe I'm with her on this, on what holds back the team at Ripple that is set off to do so many years ago. Look at this other quote. Sorry, I didn't have it on that page. If you dare to challenge the status quo, you must first believe in what you own and know that anything is possible. What's the bottom line here? You know the utility that they have here. You know what they're going to do with the central banks. We know that we're going to a whole new monetary system that most of the world does not talk about. Let's be honest. Right? Says she's asked to give her price prediction with no time frame, no clear understanding of circulating supply or firm dollar amount that equates to start. She has a whole outline there. It's really good stuff. Look at this. She talks about, for instance, the SEC versus Ripple ruling. Listen to this. 1 week after the FedNow announcement, Congress just passed the proposed crypto regulation bill to the Senate, and that they're basically 9 days into testing FedNow with the banks. Now, the Hill Capital, who has written a whole white paper on XRP price, will not pretend to think or know of any of the math that they basically did. People look at that document in shock, they do, and say that there is no way at all, right? Most of this is due to their own chart analysts stating that is not in the charts to basically do just that. Now, she states, here's a small problem with the charts. If you see a set range for XRP, for example, $1 to $5, you are ultimately saying that if one company owned all the XRP, and I know you guys talk about this in the comments quite a bit because I've seen you talk about some of this stuff in the comments. You may have been talking about it long before I was even talking about it tonight. It says that if you take all the XRP, yes, all 100 billion, they would have a liquidity strength from 100 billion to 500 billion. Now, like she said, keep that number in mind. This is a very small burn rate, because we were on the topic of burns earlier. Shout out to Boomer F and Sooner. On each transaction, regardless of the amount. This LS, as in liquidity strength, does not account for any growth in the economy. Right. Hence why so many people put so much emphasis on, oh, based off the market cap, it can't do this, it can't do that. You know how many times we've seen that? Is this a perfect example of people just simply don't understand the concept of what? Supply and demand, all right? This does not account for any growth in the economy, the action of messaging and settling, nor the 24/7, 365 benefits we receive using Ripple's XRP. How about this reference about Swift real quick? Always talking about Swift. They always get pulled out of the woodwork, do they not? They handle about 44.8 million messages per day. These are not just messages, not settlements, and only half of what XRP can do, only half. Now let's say that the dollar value of Swift is 7 trillion a day, not 24/7 or 365. If Ripple thought, or I should say, if Ripple, through its 10 years of innovation and partnerships, were only able to grab, and listen to this part, especially if you're talking about Caroline and stuff like that, if we're only able to grab 30% of Swiss value, listen to this again, if this is just your first time tuning in, 30% of Swiss value, that would be a 2.1 trillion in daily value. Oh, I thought he was talking about yearly. No, I'm not. I'm talking about daily value. Do you not realize how huge that is? Do you not realize why people are so gung-ho about XRP? Why they call it the generational wealth? How much more convincing do people need? Honestly, how much more convincing do people need when it comes to Ripple's XRP? I mean, we could be here all day about this, right? 1 to 5 seconds. Most of the time it's 3-second finality, but let's just say 1 to 5 seconds. And that liquidity would be there. Settlements are quick. However, if we were to send 750 million in transactions, we already got that example. We got that from Brad Garlinghouse, did we not? Yes, I'm sure you guys remember. With an LS of, let's say, $1, that is roughly 10% of all banks of XRP, you're going to use XRP. Think about that, only 10%. Furthermore, there is more than one client, and no one wants to break that 750 million into, for example, 750,000 to 1,000 transactions. What's the whole point of going by the old model, right? Limiting everybody. But notice Augustine, right? From the Bank of International Settlements, he is doing just that. He's putting limitations on that. Why are we putting limitations on it? It's not we, it's the bigwigs. It's the central bank of central banks. He's still the one with the control. He's still the one with the power. Once you get the power, you get, I'm going to get into that. He's having a burn rate, because we're still on topic of burn rates. Listen to this real quick. I know I'm reading this a lot verbatim. I'm also trying to explain some of this. You want a price prediction. Look at this. This is good stuff, right? It's some bonus for you. Let's account for all the banks globally, all the XRP that has been burnt, and all the XRP that you own, basically. All the XRP given to other large banks and the XRP given to the creators. Now take that XRP is basically in liquidity hubs and exchanges and present amount that represents a range. Make it simple. If you had to guess, like 50, for instance, 50 to 75 billion XRP, that at one time supporting this LS, now spread that across, say, 300 to 1,000 different banks. This person really thought this out. I would hope so. She's freaking part of the Treasury for Wells Fargo, so she knows a thing. She's expected to know math, right? Liquidity providers and governments. $1, 75 billion equals 70. equals 75 billion. 75 billion divided by 1,000 banks equals 75 million XRP dollars for each bank and or liquidity provider. Wow. Okay. How about this? A little bit more. Assume banks will have more XRP and that small banks will use more liquidity providers. I'm not going to assume big banks will have more XRP. I know that they'll have more XRP. Isn't that the whole concept of on-demand liquidity, providing a solution for Nostra Vostra? So forget assuming any of that. But I understand from her point of view, it makes a good example. All right. Assume banks and liquidity providers will purchase from exchanges. Yes. Assume Ripple has released all of their XRP from escrow to get to 75 billion if circulating supply is less than 75 billion, price per XRP exponentially higher. And we're not even done with this. This is good stuff. Honestly, if you're just tuning in, this is great. Given LS is roughly 75 million per bank and JP Morgan being a top tier bank moving more than 8 trillion a day. Think about how that sounds, 8 trillion a day. And that's just from JP Morgan. How are we not accounting for all the other banks? We are accounting for other banks, but how come other people from retail are not accounting all this stuff? If it's basic math and we just scratch the surface of that institutional money, why aren't we more bullish on this? Say, for example, like the whole thing with Swift and assumption that Ripple will only capture 10% of that market, equaling 800 billion. I mean, there's a lot of numbers there. Remember, only 75 billion XRP is out there. You can look that up yourself. Of that market, equaling 800 billion, remember, only 75 billion XRP is out there. She said it again. $1 is not enough to move that kind of money, but that should go without saying. Yeah. I think this part, again, if you're a newcomer, you keep hearing the concept of the World Bank, has labeled Ripple's XRP and Stellar's XLM as global stable coins. They label it as those things. Doesn't mean that means it's a $1, peg to the US dollar, a 1-1 ratio. That is not what we're talking about. If you're new, this is not me trying to make fun of you. We're all new at one point. We're all learning. So this is just cross-border transactions, not derivatives, real estate, CBDC, not limited to foreign countries, banks, and projects. So we're not even scratching the surface yet? No, we're not scratching the surface yet. Technical parallels. How about the NFTs? Watch out for, by the way, when NFTs become utility NFTs across the board. So it says, so it's hard for you to still believe that the Hill Capital and their price prediction. This last part is good. Now, the part you all been waiting for. I think we're waiting for this, right? That all sounded good. Her price prediction. And that is anywhere from 100 to 500 near short term. And again, what helps solidify this? You're having somebody from an actual institution. You're not having somebody that's just from YouTube or from Twitter or from any other outlet. You have literally somebody that works with the Treasury, right? Wells Fargo, but still the Treasury, right? A big player. So it talks about, for instance, 100 to 500 near short term, 4 to 7 months. 4 to 7 months. And people think I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because I say quant at like $100,000 in the future and some other crazy price predictions. I think, if anything, you start seeing a lot of crazy price predictions, and it ain't going to come just from a YouTuber, right? Here's a perfect example. All right, a little bit more. I know I'm getting a little bit into this. So it states this. It all boils down to LS. If XRP is 100 at a supply of only, for example, 50 billion, that makes an LS of, an LS of 5 trillion, and at $500, that gives us an LS of 25 trillion. Like, wow. And you could tell that this lady really thought this out. This gives the market room to breathe, allows for growth, and ensures no one company needs to own billions of XRP to perform day-to-day operations. But they can be part of the greater scheme of things. They could be a central bank that goes and refills their on-demand liquidity, their refill of these things, if you will, XRP, and they continuously do it over and over and over again to meet that demand. That's utility in motion. That's institutional utility in motion. Says, basically speaking, yes, nobody needs to own billions of XRP to perform day-to-day operations. Now, how will this happen? How and when, for me, are tied together. It has always been what the creators have stated, quote, a flip of the switch. Keep in mind, these are people that maybe didn't want to come out and say, hey, I'm a big proponent of XRP because their position with these banks and so on. Maybe they can't publicly come out and say it. Notice that there's a shift in the narrative now. You know, if you can't beat them, join them. Or how about this? You can't say anything yet because of who you work for, but you're going to patiently wait it out. Here's an example of somebody who patiently waited out. We got that SEC loss, right? Ripple won victory, right? I say this because, you know, like she says, she believes that there has been an evaluation for XRP like gold. How many times do you see this reference? I will give a shout out to Crypto Hulk. He won't give me a shout out, but that's okay. I will give him a shout out. He's been talking about that for a while. Rich, a common sense crypto, has been talking about it a while. A lot of YouTubers and crypto content creators from crypto Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, you name it, have been talking about this for a while in regards to gold. This is how they will price you out. How many times did Rich say that? I watch his videos. He always talks about we're going to get priced out of quant. We're going to get priced out of XRP. This is what I believe, according to Rosie Rios. What she meant with what she stated, and quote, the train has left the station, and this is how the governments control the next world of finance. I hope this ages well. Don't you like what you see? Don't you like the idea that this person, for crying out loud, let's double check it again, Shannon Thorpe, she works in treasury management for Wells Fargo. She's also a licensed realtor in the state of Florida. 16,500 subscribers. Sounds like she knows a thing or two. Sounds like she is part of the thing of doing your own research. All right. That was not exactly fully planned to do that type of coverage tonight for XRP, but you guys, it's on your mind, and I'm glad it's on your mind.